Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of the PRIMAL podcast. I want to start off by saying if you're a sensitive little bitch, you might not want to listen to this. But if you're someone who wants to create changes in your life and create that life you've always wanted, that's what we're here for. My name is Matthew McCabe. I own 4 out of 5 of the PRIMAL Nutrition locations, and I'm joined here with my co-host, Kevin Tran.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Kevin, and I actually own one of the 4 locations with Matt, actually. So how did you get into this business anyways?
So let's go back and I'll give you a little bit of backstory. I was going to college. I thought I was going for nursing school. Didn't really work out for me. First semester, I was kind of partying, having a good time. I was being a social butterfly. I ended up getting in a fight one night where I ended up getting jumped in that fight and ended up with a concussion. And, you know, my life went south from there. I hit total rock bottom after that. I was kicked out of school. You know, my parents kicked me out of the house because I was getting into trouble. A whole story that I'll tell you guys on another episode. Yeah, so it landed me to eventually start working at PRIMAL Nutrition. And, you know, you can only work a minimum wage for so long that eventually I thought I could do this as a career. And yeah, that's how I got into it.
Yeah, for me, I used to work in a hospital medical lab, and you know, I didn't know anything about business. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like Matt does his thing and he's good at it. I don't think I'm going to be good at business. Originally, I was a PRIMAL athlete, and one day I was like, hey Matt, have you ever thought about putting PRIMAL online? And because it was franchised and it wasn't like your name, we couldn't put it up there. So he was like, yeah, I'm thinking about like starting a clothing brand. I'm like, oh, you're starting one? And he was looking at me, he was like, hey, why? You want to start one with me? And I'm like, no, I want to support you. And he was like, no, let's start one together. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, Kev was a little anxious, but Kev didn't realize he had a lot of talents that I didn't have. Like he's, you know, the guy that's running this podcast right now, that's Kev. You know, the guy that's taking the photos for our business, that's Kev. The guy that's running the videos, that's Kev. It's all these different areas that I wasn't, you know, fluent in. And, you know, that's what Kev does. Because you want to tell him about your band?
So I'm currently in a boy band called Elevated, and I'm always running the show. And I guess with that skill, it helps build me as an entrepreneur that I didn't realize. Like with marketing, I always like go on, like I DM people, I comment on other people's videos so they can follow our group page. And I didn't realize that's business, that's marketing, because you're being an entrepreneur, you try to win people over. And so that's what I learned through the clothing brand. So it was called like Resilient One. And that was a good practice for me, because like the difference between Resilient One and being in Elevated is like Resilient One, you're actually putting money, a lot of money.
Right.
Elevated, it was just, I guess, a hobby with like a few friends and stuff like that. And I wanted something big, but with Resilient, it gets me learning how to market even better. And sometimes you got to be aggressive when marketing to people. And then one day, I just didn't want to work a full-time job anymore because it's getting in the way of like my passions and everything. So Matt was like, hey, open up another PRIMAL shop with me. You'll be much happier. And lo and behold, I am much happier.
And that's where we are now. So Kev was working a full-time job. We saw the opportunity for a location inside of Echelon Fitness, jumped right on it. And now he's running that location. He's half partner on that location. And you think you're doing better than your full-time job?
Yeah. Like I'm definitely 10 times happier.
10 times happier.
Yeah.
You making more money?
Oh yeah.
There you go. So basically what we're getting at is, you know, you can sit there and like you can work for a job and, you know, you might get a raise. They might bring you up a little higher over time. Or you can do the alternative. You can chase your passion, do what you want, create that life that you want by just putting everything into your business and your craft for yourself without relying on a job to pay you or give you that raise you're looking for.
Right. But yeah, let's start off with answering some questions. We posted on our Instagram stories, like ask us a question to answer on the podcast. So we got a couple good ones, and Matt's more articulate than me. So
yeah, so I'll start off with the first one. So what's your favorite supplement to maintain healthy testosterone levels and why? I like this question a lot, actually, because maintaining healthy testosterone levels doesn't have to do with supplements per se, but in the same sense it does. So the first thing I would say, if you're not getting enough sleep, so if you're not sleeping enough, you definitely want to start sleeping 8 hours a night. Definitely get sunlight. Vitamin D is super important towards maintaining healthy testosterone levels. Third thing, diet. So if you have a shitty diet, that's just going to create more estrogen and, plummet your testosterone at the same time. So you want to keep a high protein, healthy fat diet.
Exactly. And don't be too lean either, because that also tanks your testosterone.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, like, just get all your bases covered before taking anything, because more than likely it's a lifestyle choice. And if you do need higher testosterone, that's when you start getting a test booster and all that stuff. Like, check it with your doctor first.
Absolutely. So basically the testosterone is going to come from your lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So that's question number 1. I think that was an easy answer.
Yeah. So we got another one. How do I know what supplements are best for me and my goals? Like a little research.
Yeah. So, depending what you're trying to do. So we can always help you out at Primal, of course. We can recommend products that are going to help you towards the exact goal that you want. First thing I would say in general about this question is, if you're looking for products that, that you can trust, you're taking what it says, definitely look for products that are third-party tested, just so that, you're confirming what they're putting on the label is actually inside of the product.
And be sure to go to your local, not GNC or Vitamin Shop, but an actual local nutrition shop, in case you guys are not from Jersey, and ask them for help. Or if you have someone at the gym who's very well versed in supplements or has experience, always ask questions. Ask someone who's been there.
Yeah, but someone you can trust, of course, because there are people out there that will try to just recommend a bunch of stuff that you don't necessarily need. If you go into a vitamin shop, a GNC, usually they're running off a commission basis. Usually your smaller nutrition shops aren't commission based. So those people are there to actually really help you achieve the goals you want to achieve. Whereas if you go to these corporate places, they really don't care. They look at you as a dollar sign. Mm-hmm. So that's super important too. Yeah. All right. I got another question on here too. So this person said, let's talk about overusing supplements. So what I want to say about that is, so I don't know if I fully agree with the question, because I think supplements are essential if it's something that you're lacking in your diet. But what I will say is, if you're trying to rely on supplements for all your food, like protein shakes, that kind of stuff, you're not getting all those macro micronutrients through your foods that are really going to help your body run efficiently. But, I definitely think if you're slacking stuff in your diet, you definitely need supplements to make up those areas.
Yeah, basically have all your bases covered. And at the end of the day, eat whole foods, of course. Get lifestyle, earlier what you said, make sure your lifestyle is in check. Sleep, right. You're exercising regularly, eat the right amount of food, eat the right type of food, and then reassess your goals and reassess what you need. Example, protein.
I think that's a good example, because protein, I think, is essential for anyone. Mm-hmm. It's kind of impossible, unless you were going to eat 8 ounces of chicken 6 times a day, to hit those protein numbers that most people need for their goals through food alone. So that's where protein shakes come in handy, where you're looking at 25 grams of protein per scoop. You put 2 scoops in a shake, that's 50 grams of protein. That's a whole meal for the average guy. For girls, it would be about 25 grams. So you're setting up a meal plan. You got 3 meals a day, right? Those meals only get you to 120 grams of protein. Let's say my diet plan needs me to get to 200. All right, well, if I drink 2 protein shakes that are worth about 40 to 50 grams of protein each on top of those meals, that's really easy to do, because I don't have to be hungry to drink a protein shake. That's where they come into play, and that's where it's really going to help you.
You know what's funny? people tell me, well, you're drinking too much protein or you're overdosing. I was like, there's no such thing as overdosing.
So there's like a problem in the medical field, and I don't really know what it is exactly because I'm still kind of, I'm not really versed in the medical field for what they consider nutrition. But they've told Marlo, my girlfriend, they've told her that she has high protein in her kidneys and her pee. It really confused me at first because, when I was first getting into it, I learned right away that a high protein diet is very healthy, and it helps you be able to cut your fat and lose that weight you don't want. So over time, at first, Marlo was a little bit worried to be able to go onto a high protein diet. I'm telling her to drink like 2-3 protein shakes a day on top of her meals, and it was kind of freaking her out at first. And then she started to actually listen to me, and she started to do it for herself. And she was dropping weight like crazy. And she looked amazing after. And, she never had any issues with her kidneys, never had any issues with high protein in her pee. But, that's what the doctors would say, and they would kind of scare her out of drinking protein shakes. So it's being able to see what your doctor's saying, but also seeing what works for you and your lifestyle, because sometimes they're not always right.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't always want what's best for you. Yeah. Sometimes they want what's best for them in their pockets. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. So like take everything you hear, what other people say with a grain of salt, try to apply it to your life and see if it works for you, because everyone's different. Everyone's built different, but definitely a high protein diet does help because first off, it increases satiety.
Yeah. So your metabolism gets increased, because you're always repairing muscle, stripping fat at the same time. But a high protein diet does that. If you're eating a lot of carbs, sugar, that kind of stuff through your diet, your metabolism's at a crawl. And now that stuff is storing as fat because you're not constantly burning off.
Exactly.
Whereas high protein, your body's constantly burning it off because it's using it to repair the muscles that you're working out.
Right. And basically, a high protein diet increases satiety, so it makes you less wanting to eat more too. So it has a lot of benefits. And for people who say, "Oh, well, I don't work out, so I shouldn't eat so much protein," it's like, well, when you get older, your muscle is going to break down. So you want to
deteriorating. Yeah.
So you want to preserve some of the muscles, like not to look good, but in order to enjoy life, move around, carrying small things and stuff like that.
Yeah. So, they actually say there's a new study going on in America. It says that we do not have an obesity issue. We have a lack of muscle issue. So you think about putting on muscle, right? When you have more muscle, your metabolism's faster. You burn more calories. You burn more fat. So more muscle, the more fit you'll be. That's simple.
Exactly.
So people that say they don't want to put on muscle, they're not making any sense. They do want to put on muscle. They just don't realize, they don't want to get bulky is what they always say. But you're not going to get bulky unless you're shooting Tren in your ass. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the women. Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. So many women I hear, oh, I don't want to drink protein shakes. I don't want to get bulky. That's not how it works, girl. You're not just going to blow up and be twice the size of me or Kev or, a bodybuilder. I've been working out for like 12 years. I still feel super small. So just take that and realize you're not going to blow up like some monster bodybuilder. Those guys are running like all the drugs in the world to get to their physique.
You know what Arnold Schwarzenegger says every time someone says, oh, I don't want to look like you, or I don't want to look as big as you. He says, don't worry, you won't.
That's funny.
So you're going to have to try really hard to.
Yeah.
Yeah, for women, you're not going to look bulky. You're going to just look more toned. You're just have a nice figure.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a way better look for a woman, to be honest with you. Rather than being what's the alternative? The alternative is being super skinny, no curves to you, no body shape to you. Come on. We know what looks better.
Exactly. And it's not even for, looks purposes. You don't have to do this to look good. You want to feel healthy. You want to feel good. Because, a lot
like how this conversation we just started, we were talking about health. We weren't even talking about looks.
Exactly.
But looks play a role into, if you feel healthy, you probably look healthy too.
Yeah, that's just the icing on the cake right there. Looks, but there's a lot of old guys at my gym. He goes like, "Oh yeah, I will totally look like you if I was 27." Like, no, that's bullshit.
Right.
I know a lot of guys in their 40s and 50s that look amazing, but that's because they've been doing it consistently over and over and over again. Eat the right things. There's a common phrase: you use it or you lose it.
Right. And what we're talking about here is a lifestyle. We're not talking about, getting blown up overnight. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You got to be every single day, clean diet, working out. You got to do it for you and your future and what you want,
Consistency is the key. And, there's no such, these crash diets, they don't work. They only work for maybe like a short period of time, but you're going to gain that weight back or you're going to lose all that muscle. You got to find what works for you and make it a lifestyle, not a fad or not like a challenge.
All right, so let's lead that into something else to talk about. So something I wanted to talk about on here today is, let's talk about negativity and positivity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a quote that I like to tell people that work with me or,
I know what it is.
under me, there's no solution in negativity. So anytime you're negative and you're kind of beating yourself up about something and, being super like depressed or anxious about something, you're never going to get any results from that. But if you switch that perspective and you start thinking on the positive side, that's where the solutions lie.
Exactly. Because anecdotal. So earlier this week, my girl, she just took her hard exam, her midterm. So she finished her exam, she passed, but then she went back and looked at her answers, be like, oh, I second guessed myself, and then she starts dwelling in her mistakes. I'm just like, babe, you're wasting your time. You could be using that time that you're wasting dwelling on these questions that you second guess yourself. You could have used that time.
Go review them.
Yeah, review them. That or study for the next exam.
Right.
Yeah, because okay,
you can't change what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just moving on.
Yeah. So me and Kev have this happen all the time to us. So constantly, we'll try to promote our store, right? Obviously, we want to gain more customers, create more relationships. So many people, I think especially after COVID, it's gotten worse with people's social anxiety and stuff, where they want to kind of give you that negative energy right away and kind of push you away. So if I walk up to you and I'm like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Do you take protein or pre-workouts and stuff? A lot of people now will shoot you down and say like, oh, what is this, a sales thing? And usually, I'm just trying to build a relationship with somebody. So it sucks when that happens. And they kind of push you away with negativity right away instead of like hearing you out and seeing what you're about. So I experience this all the time. When I first started about almost 4 years ago now, I would let this beat me up. So people would shoot me down and then, I'd walk away and I'd kind of feel a little bit depressed. I'd be scared to talk to the next guy because I'm just thinking everybody's going to treat me that way. What I have to say about that now is smile and laugh at it. Because the only reason that person's shooting you down is because they know damn well that they wouldn't be doing it themselves. Most of the time people are jealous of what you're doing, that you have that courage to get out there, put your chest up and, try to promote yourself. So what I realized is smile and just keep it moving. Jump to the next guy. And right when you jump to the next guy, 9 out of 10 times, they're going to be positive. And it's going to completely change that whole dynamic that you were just happening where you were going to go in that negative rut. Fuck that. We're going to take that. We're going to smile at the person, tell them to have a nice fucking day, and then move to the next person because they might buy our product.
Yeah, exactly. And people who shoot you down, just see them as a number. Don't see them with any emotional attachment.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, you're still trying to pursue your goals. You're trying to be successful. And actually, another anecdotal story. I told you this earlier. A couple of days ago, I was promoting at Edge Fitness. I'm making relations, talking to these teenage guys who wants to build gains and reciprocating so well. I went up to this one guy, tall guy, but muscular as fuck, nice hair. And I was like, hey, bro, do you take any protein pre-workout? He's like, yes, I do. I was like, oh, what do you take? He's like, oh, I take my own nutrition brand or I have my own supplement line. And he was like, oh no, but I don't want to have anything to do with Primal, because he knew who I was, or he knew what the brand was. He recognized me, so
Yeah.
And he was like, I wouldn't be selling it to 16-year-old kids. I'm like, bro, it's just protein.
Right. So that goes to show you, it's, that's the way I see that is like, so Kev went and promoted to somebody who's competition.
Yeah.
Instantly he tries to throw some negative stuff at him. Don't be selling to 16-year-olds, as if he is. Come on. Everyone, when I was 16, I started getting into working out. I started taking supplements. I think it's totally safe and healthy for 16-year-olds to take supplements that are for their health. There's a lot of stuff that they shouldn't take, and we tell them that straight up. But what they should take is protein. What they should take is amino acids. The healthy stuff that's actually going to be the building blocks to build that foundation of muscle so that they can keep growing when they get, to an older age.
Exactly. And I didn't let that bring me down. Like, I was down for like a few seconds. I'm like, damn. Like, actually, no, I was more so speechless. I'm like, the fuck?
Yeah, like, what did this guy just...
Yeah, but like for a few seconds, I felt a little down and like a little anxious. But I'm like, you know what? I'm not leaving this gym until I talk to a couple more people who reciprocates it well. And lo and behold, the next guy, he reciprocated well. He's like, yeah, I'll support local business. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people with their goals and promote a local small business. For someone to shoot you down, it's pathetic in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
We actually had a situation not too long ago. Kev came up to the new location. I bought the Montgomery County store, and we went to the Edge Fitness across the street to promote. So I go up and I'm talking to these two guys real quick. And before I can even really say anything, he says, "Oh, that's a conflict of interest. So I don't want to hear it." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm like really good at this point. So I'm used to people shooting me down. So I'm like, oh, what's the conflict of interest, man? Like, is everything all right?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I actually own a supplement brand. So, I don't want anything to do with what you guys are selling." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, man. It's kind of weird because I sell a ton of supplement brands. Actually, I have 5 stores that could sell your supplement brand if you heard me out. But, they think so small that they think I'm competition right away that I could have just bought thousands of dollars worth of your stuff to sell at my stores.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, you destroyed that relationship by being negative right away and pushing people away."
Yeah. So, hey,
thanks for watching.
And if you guys like this, if you're on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, comment for the algorithm.
And even though this one might suck, we're planning on getting better and better each day. So we hope to keep bringing you more and better podcasts as we go.
Thanks for watching.